Hi, welcome to Is It a Film, a podcast that critiques and memes film and asks one very important question: is it a film? I'm your host, Jonathan, aka I'm really excited for the Japanese MCU. And I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my droog, Vincent.
Okay, Jonathan says this is the weirdest thing I have ever jacked off to.
Yeah.
Because you told me that should be my AKA.
Yeah, and then now it is.
And then I said, you said I should say it. Now that makes sense.
But here's the thing, though. You kept the I've, so it still implies that you jacked off to it.
I didn't, but you implying that I am.
No.
This is episode 6 of Is It a Film, an episode we would like to call Robert Downey Jr.'s Tetsuo the Iron Man. This is actually Robert Downey Sr. I'm sorry, I messed up. His dad was really fucked up.
Yes?
Yeah.
A pretty good filmmaker.
But he was still really fucked up.
Yeah.
He forced Robert Downey Jr. to drink
Smoke weed with him.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way he knew how to bond with him.
Because he's the best dad ever. No. Today we're going over Tetsuo the Iron Man, or Tetsuo 1 the Iron Man.
Nobody calls it that.
Canopy does.
Well, Canopy's fucking wrong. The trilogy is Tetsuo the Iron Man, Tetsuo Body Hammer, or Tetsuo 2 Body Hammer. That's the only one that actually has the number in it. And then Tetsuo the Bullet Man, which is the third one.
It's the spin-off.
None of them connect to each other.
So they're all spin-offs.
They all use actually like the same basic storyline.
They do. They all have one similar character from what I'm aware of, and we'll go over what that one similar character is. So let's get into the basic ass intro. What is Tetsuo the Iron Man? Well, it's a 1989 Japanese cyberpunk horror film directed, written, produced, edited, shot, and starring Shinya Tsukamoto.
It's Eraserhead meets Japanese D-list horror film.
Yeah, that's how I put it.
Edited on cocaine.
It's a campy. It's like Godzilla meets Eraserhead, but there's no like implying that it's Godzilla implies that there's a giant monster. There kind of is.
Oh yeah, it's actually.
But it's
like,
also
it was distributed from like Kaiju Films or something. It was part of their like Little Monster series.
Oh, okay, so it is Godzilla meets Iron Man meets Avengers. So it's
Eraserhead.
I think the title of this. The clickbait title should be Avengers plus Eraserhead equals Godzilla ?
Or Avengers plus Eraserhead plus Godzilla equals ?
Oh, okay. No, I think it's equals Godzilla.
Like it even like fits with the Eraserhead because like David Lynch, Shinya Tsukamoto did pretty much everything.
Yeah, he did.
Just like David Lynch did.
But there's also like we'll get into it. There's a shot at the very beginning. I'm like, oh, this is just Eraserhead.
It's just Eraserhead, but with shaky cam.
It's also starring Tomorrow Taguchi. I knew Taguchi and Kei Fujiwara. I'm pretty sure Fujiwara is like a rest hold in wrestling. It's like an armbar or something like that. I think or maybe there's just a wrestler. It's also shot by Kei Fujiwara, which is interesting. So when one actor wasn't in a shot, the other would be shooting, which is great. It has music from Chu Ishikawa. I think that's how you pronounce it. Chu Ishikawa. That makes more sense. And the music in this is One MC Ride from Being a Death Grip song.
Yeah.
I really have no complaints for the music over this because it's just industrial music for the most part, except from the beginning where there's one song where the synth didn't fit.
Two random like jazzy-esque like
moments,
switches, or it's like industrial music. There's like just smooth Twin Peaks-esque music.
No, it reminds me a little bit of
not like Twin Peaks. Like the scenes are like in like a diner whenever they like bring in like the jazz for something.
No, it reminds me of Forbidden Planet. Or not Forbidden Planet, Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, it does a little bit too.
Yeah, it's psychedelic. It's not as much as I would say.
It's a little jazzy.
But I think it's just so weird. So out of context.
I think it's just weird because of how it's placed. I don't think it's weird like the music itself. Like I feel if you took it out, it wouldn't be like weird. It's just weird because of the context around.
So you want to know more about how this film was made? I'll tell you from a Wikipedia summary that was put on the Wikipedia page. Again, Wikipedia, greatest resource known to man. It was filmed over 18 months, primarily in Fujiwara's apartment. Again, Eraserhead.
Yeah,
David Lynch lived in this apartment.
In the set, yeah.
By the end of the production, most of the crew broke with Tsukamoto because the filming conditions were so difficult. In Tom Mez's book about the film he interviewed, Tamaro Taguchi, the actor who plays the salaryman, the only cast member and crew who didn't constantly live on set, who noted it was very tough. So I quickly sensed that if you would stay with them all the time, you would inevitably get the urge to escape. So I figured if I could keep some distance, I would be able to last much longer and keep a good relationship with them. It's true that almost every day I went there, another crew member would have left. One day I arrived home at the house and the lighting crew had gone, so I had to do the lighting for Tsukamoto's scenes myself. Towards the end, only the actors were still around. Nearly the entire crew had given up and left by then. Tsukamoto later admitted he had considered burning the film's negatives because the whole production had been such a negative experience. Jesus.
But yeah, damn.
But it's a really good film.
I feel like if David Lynch had like smushed the production of Eraserhead into 18 months as opposed to 5 years, it would have pretty much been the exact same situation.
Probably. Why is this film important, Jonathan? It's good.
It's really good. It doesn't really have much of like cultural, like contextual, like importance for like the development of like experimental film and surrealist film. It's a great body horror film.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good, enjoyable film. So why is it important? It's important because it's just fucking fun to watch, as well as being like really cool and experimental
obscure
and
oddity.
Abstract and surreal and
It's just an obscure oddity.
It's just
started as like an independent film and then become like a cult hit over years.
Yeah,
because it's received no critical acclaim.
It'll make
the beginning,
you look
but
slightly.
over years,
it's a cool way to talk about like Japanese films without being a weeb.
I don't think that's why it's important.
That's why it's important.
So what? Like, why is this film so weird, Jonathan? Well, we're gonna get into why it's so
edited
weird.
on cocaine.
We're gonna get into why it's so weird because we're gonna go over the most important segment of the show, the main meat of the show, the Wikipedia summary. Wikipedia, for those of you who don't know, is an internet encyclopedia used to inform users about various subjects, including Tetsuo the Iron Man. And every week or every time we do the show, we go over the Wikipedia summary of a film's plot, and we're going to continue that right now. Again, Wikipedia, most important resource known to man, and sometimes dolphins and sometimes dogs.
And
so, Jonathan, can you give me the Wikipedia summary of the plot to Tetsuo the Iron Man / Tetsuo 1 the Iron Man?
I'm not calling it Tetsuo 1 the Iron Man.
You will.
I refuse. So yeah, let's go.
Let's straight up. I read this Wikipedia summary article ahead of time. I think it's pretty perfect. Usually it misses out on things, and I usually make the joke if it's not included, it doesn't matter. But this one, I think it's pretty on the nose.
Yeah, a metal fetishist. It should be the metal fetishist because that's the character's name.
Straight out of the gate.
The metal fetishist enters his Tokyo hideout, which is full of rusted parts and photos of famous athletes.
You immediately get a shot where he's going up to a desk or something and it has plants on it. Mm-hmm. And immediately I was like, oh, this is just a Eraserhead.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, that one shot.
Shots of it are like so like industrial shitscape. Yeah. Like in Eraserhead, it's just shaky cam. Yeah. There's Eraserhead was like very much and almost entirely. There's only like a few shots that are like handheld or like stationary like tripod camera. This film is like mostly shaky cam.
It is all shaky
mostly
cam.
Handheld. So like that's probably the only like major visual difference other than like how grainy the film stock is by comparison. Yeah, just great industrial shitscape. He cuts open his thigh and thrusts a large metal rod into the wound. Does it mention that great grating shot when he just drags it across his teeth and it makes that noise?
That's the wound didn't hurt me. I was like,
that noise.
It was just like once he put it, I'm like, ew, that's gross. He's putting a metal rod into his leg, but then he grinds it against his teeth. I'm like, it hurts
so grating,
so bad,
but so perfect.
Later, he unwraps the wound to discover it's rotting and covered with maggots.
As would happen.
So what do? He exits the hideout, running down the street and screaming until he's hit by a passing car. As what happens when you go on to the road.
Yep.
This film's very anti-pedestrian. Mm-hmm.
Or is it pro-pedestrian? It's hard to tell.
Later on, it becomes pro-pedestrian.
I don't know. It's really hard to
It
tell.
depends on what type of road he was on, because I also think that guy was going at an unlawful speed.
Yeah, it's really hard, and we'll talk about this later. It's really hard to tell, like, who's the good guy in this film.
It depends on what type of road if it was. If it was like a neighborhood road, we'll get into it later.
Yeah, I'll talk about that probably towards the end. A salaryman daydreams, tormented by visions of metal and industrial machinery, and the greatest homage to the Talking Heads ever.
So I texted Jonathan and I was like, wow, this really transformed from body horror to Talking Heads music video real quick. Yeah. He's in a suit. He reminds me of David Byrne in the Once in a Lifetime music video where he's just going around flailing his limbs in a very abstract place. Also, this fantastic industrial score, because the score in the previous scene had like a really off synth that didn't fit the drums while the drums were really knocking. This, everything's on board. The drums are fucking killing it. Again, one MC ride away from being a Death Grips track.
Yeah.
The metallic kind of filthy compressed sound that the music has in this whole entire score is terrific. It fits the film. Like, this industrial soundtrack actually makes sense.
Yeah,
because it's all about metal. While shaving in his apartment, he notices a metal spike protruding from his cheek and that spurts blood when he touches it. He speaks to his girlfriend on the phone. She cannot stop thinking about the incident.
Yeah, so I like, the only thing that bothers me about this Wikipedia summary is like they keep referring to it as the incident, and I don't know if that's just like something they did with the subtitles. I don't know if they did in yours, but like they straight up, in my subtitled version at least, they straight up say like the hit and run incident. Did they say that?
Yeah.
So like in the Wikipedia, it's like trying to like beat around the bush, like did they run him over? Is this what it was? And then in the movie's like, yeah, I'm really still thinking about the time we ran over that guy.
Yeah.
That guy that totally doesn't relate at all to the guy that was shown getting run over in the start of the film.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I thought the metal fetishes, because, again, you're in these abstract places and I couldn't see, and I wasn't paying attention.
You don't even see his face really.
I didn't see his face. I thought it was the same person. I thought he got ran over.
Yeah.
And that explained why like metal was splurging out everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's why I thought. I didn't see the guy's face, so I didn't know. I didn't have enough time to be exposed to his face to make sense.
The salaryman is on his way to work. On the platform, he sits next to a woman wearing glasses. She notices an abomination of flesh and metal on the ground. She pokes it with a pin and is quickly overcome by it, becoming a zombie-like puppet of the fetishist. It doesn't show or talk about how like the shots of like her looking down there, like for just like queer like shot at a monitor. Like, reshoot.
They do that for a couple other things in the film too.
Is really, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to showcase like how the fetishist is like seeing the world around, outside of his like little like hideaway. And then, like, I don't know if they mention it. Yeah, they don't. But basically, it showcases like he's puppeting her, but like he's almost like kind of almost inside of her, because like he feels like whenever he attacks her, like he reacts to it and clearly feels it too.
Yeah.
It's and like one of my favorite fades from this film was like when she first goes like she's like about to like just fucking poke it. She's like, wait, no, that's fucking stupid, and then goes back and gets a pin and pokes it.
And then it still has the same consequence.
Still has the same effect.
Her makeup is terrific.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Like, especially after the transformation.
It's on the cover of the Canopy version, and I was just like, yeah.
Because in my version, it's the metal fetishist.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they have similar makeup, and I just didn't think about it.
On my second viewing, I realized that like when she gets like possessed, the makeup transforms into like the same makeup that like the metal fetishist has.
Maybe that's what I thought it was. The salaryman flees in terror to a toilet and is briefly able to escape by stabbing the woman with a pen and then running into a hiding in a workshop. A couple things. The chase music for this, industrial music should be the chase music for everything, because it fits so perfectly. The metal being smashed and bang is terrific. 2, the chase scene is just stop motion animation of just like zooming through the streets. So David Lynch actually takes from this film.
Except this film came afterwards.
Did it come after?
When did this come out?
No, what's the film where David Lynch has the car going through the roads at the beginning? Can't remember what
Lost
it was.
Highway?
Yeah. Is Lost Highway after this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but yeah, like all of the like chase sequences are done this really cool way where like they don't walk, and like eventually they explain like why that is, and that's they have like these little jet propulsion fins at their feet, but they just like stand and pose and then just slide across the street, and they do it in this like, and this is where I said like it's edited on cocaine, where like it's just these quick like snapshots of them. Like it's constantly like jittery and like movie.
That's what happens when you put a camera on top of a car.
Yeah,
And leave it unattended.
Yeah,
and it's also probably handheld.
Yeah, handheld like picture shots. Like clearly they weren't able to like see what they did originally to like match it, so they're just like trying to match as best as they could, and it creates a cool effect. But yeah, that's how he runs away. He jets across the street, just standing upright because he doesn't know how to control it yet, and then he slams into the workshop.
Yeah. Continue.
We go back and forth on who reads this all the time. She soon finds him, but he is able to defeat her with his growing metal powers, which it doesn't really show the metal powers yet. It's more she's just kind of hitting her.
Yeah.
And then later it showcases those like the metal powers forming. Then the Sour Man dreams of his girlfriend who dances erotically with a hose-like phallus, which is like probably like solid 5 feet long.
So she has a hose coming out of her Orpheus that is being controlled.
It's more like just a really, really long strap-on that's bendy and a hose.
Yeah, it's
something.
Yeah.
At this point, she also has makeup that kind of resembles the metal fetishes as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, she takes that hose-like phallus and sodomizes him with it.
Which you do? I guess that makes it actually a really long strap on then.
Yeah, because like that's what you do.
Yeah. No, I thought you eat with strap-ons, Jonathan.
I mean, some people do, probably. Back in his apartment, the Sour Man is horrified to see his male transformation is accelerating. He and his girlfriend have sex, which is really, really a prolonged sex scene.
Not the worst one.
It's not the most prolonged, but it's just very long and not hot because everybody's like really sweaty in this
Not
film.
hot because it's hot.
Yeah, it's not hot because it's very hot because everybody in this movie is just sweating a storm.
Because it's hot in Japan.
And probably like the conditions of the set were so bad, it's probably not even an effect. That's just how people were. They were just that fucking sweaty.
It's always 900 degrees in Japan.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like Australia. Australia's always hot.
It's Australia, but without the deadly spiders.
Yeah.
Instead, you have to deal with deadly giant wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and his girlfriend have sex. Afterwards, his girlfriend eats suggestively, each interaction with the food accompanied by the screeching sounds of metal.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought him and the fetishist were the same person for a second. He feeds her a sausage, and is the greatest fucking thing in the world. It's the greatest, campiest, stupid thing in the world, and it's fantastic. The Sour Man flees in terror to a toilet and is briefly able to escape by the stabbing woman.
You didn't mention the penis.
I skipped by like 20 lines.
Yeah. Suddenly, the Sour Man's penis is transformed into a large metal drill, and he soon loses control, attacking his girlfriend. But it doesn't mention is that it loses control by like growing and like bursting through their fucking wooden table.
And then he has to go and hide in the bathroom, and his girlfriend's like, he locks himself in. What's happening? She wants to know, and she says she can handle it. She finally busts in, and he's hiding under a towel, and she reveals him, and he's covered in metal everywhere.
Not everywhere yet, but a lot of
everywhere.
His face and his arm.
Like, even if it's on your face, it's everywhere.
And obviously his penis, which is now a drill.
That's everywhere to me. If it's on your penis,
if it's on your penis, like at that point you're done.
At that point, it's considered everywhere. Logic.
Like if you get poison ivy and it goes onto your penis, you now have poison ivy everywhere.
Okay, continue.
Oh, she stabs him in the neck with a kitchen knife and, believing she has killed him, commits suicide by impaling herself on his drill, which again is his penis. The Sour Man awakens and realizes what has happened, while elsewhere the fetishist laughs maniacally.
I really don't have much to say. I wish there was more to say. I wish I could be like, drill penis, ha ha ha. I literally, it's the joke is there.
Yeah,
the joke is present in the notes. We don't need to say anything.
It's a drill penis.
It's a drill penis.
And when he as he's reawakening, it like comes back on, and you know
the scene where he's literally just like disemboweling her with the drill penis and the blood's getting everywhere. It's fantastic. Like that's set up perfectly.
Yeah.
But I don't need to say anything else. It's a goddamn drill penis. Yeah. What do you expect from me? We need to move forward so we can actually have something to say.
It doesn't mention this, but like after he like awakens, he like washes himself off which has to help make him rest a little bit. And then like he puts her in like a bath filled with like rose petals, and she's still holding the knife somehow, which comes into
Because when you hold
importance
something
later.
when you die, you hold it forever.
Yeah, and that comes even though I don't think she had the knife on her when she died.
Rigor mortis is weird. You pick stuff up when you die.
Yeah, and
that's
there's,
the
like,
definition of rigor
even that,
mortis.
like after she thought he was dead, she started like licking him like very sexually.
As you do.
After she had fucking cut his throat open.
As you do.
As one does. The Salaryman's transformation into the Iron Man is complete. He receives a phone call from the fetishist who tells the Iron Man that he's coming for him. Much as the way Obadiah Stane did for Tony Stark in the first Iron Man. Am I wrong?
The salaryman built this in a shed with a box of scraps. Damn it. I love callbacks. Oh, Jesus.
Is revealed that the Salaryman and his girlfriend are the ones who struck the fascists with their car, disposing of the body in the woods, and then having sex up against a tree.
As you do.
As one does, apparently.
Instead of like burying the body,
Or
you're just
calling
like
the proper authorities.
we have valuable time. This leads to depending on the road. They're not at fault. If it's a highway,
It's a hit and run no matter what. They're still at fault for hitting a body,
Okay.
putting it in their car, driving to the woods, kicking it down a hill, and then fucking against a tree.
What do you think the speed limit of this road is?
I don't fucking know. It's in kilometers. I don't understand that. We're in America.
Okay,
we
if
do miles.
this film was
'cause our
made in
system is
America,
stupid.
would it be a neighborhood speed? Would it be like 25 miles per
It
hour?
looked next to like a main road, so probably like 40 something.
They look like they're going more than 40. Yeah, they're at fault.
Yeah.
So
They're
they're the
at
villains.
fault either way for the run part. Maybe not the hit, but the run part they definitely are.
Yeah, no, it's like if they weren't at fault with the hit, they could have called the police, but since they didn't decide, oh, our time's valuable, let's have sex. There's only so many hours in the day, Jonathan.
Oh my god.
For them to call the proper authorities would take less time out of sex. Or more time out of sex. And sex time's valuable time because that's when they sweat.
Yeah, anyway, it's revealed through this as the male fascist plays a recording, I guess, from his own eye of the event, and then, like, on a TV that the salaryman can't turn off. That skips that part.
Yeah.
Upon realizing this, the Iron Man attempts to electrocute himself, but it only serves to stimulate him further.
I just like that.
Yeah.
Again, there's nothing to say. It makes sense.
Yeah, he takes his finger, puts it in an electrical socket, and it electrocutes himself for like a solid like 5 minutes.
It makes sense. This is how the universe would react. Of course, some guy would get a hard on if he was made of metal by just putting his finger in the socket because it would feel tingly.
Yeah. The fascist makes his way to the Iron Man's apartment, destroying all metal in his wake. He possesses the body of the dead girl and attacks the Iron Man by like pretty much possessing her through like the rust of the pipes and just controlling her physically that way, and then like making her like slashing with the knife again. Which at this point, his whole body's covered in metal except for his face. You only have literally one point of entrance if you want to
I
stab
really
him.
don't know what his powers are. I'm thinking, I watched the entire film. I don't know what his powers are.
Who, the metal fetishist?
Yeah, like, does he degrade shit?
I feel like he has like complete control over like metal to some extent, like some level of control.
But then why wouldn't he just control the Iron Man?
He does for most of the film. Like after he gets there, he like spends most of the film like just fucking with him and throwing him around with his powers.
But at the end, he doesn't control him.
I think that's because when I don't think they talk about it, but like there's a guy who like attacks the fetishist, and I think as he's beating him like upside the head, it like snaps his connection to him.
Okay.
Maybe.
I thought the Iron Man got beat up. Or was that the fetish?
I'm pretty sure it's the fetishist.
I think it makes more sense for it to be the
I
fetish.
think it was the Iron Man, and it's breaking the connection to the fetishist because the fetishist is like writhing in pain as the Iron Man's getting beaten.
Oh, okay. Moving forward.
Yeah. The fetishist eels. Oh, hang on. He possesses the body of the dead girlfriend, attacks the Iron Man, eventually emerging in his true form, where he like disintegrates her body in front of him, and then like reforms.
Is she made out of metal?
I think it's like he through the rust in the pipes, like took over her whole body, and then like
That doesn't
from
make
the inside out. And,
Okay.
like, just traveled through. I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird and surreal. It doesn't have to make perfect sense.
But I want to make sense, Jonathan.
Yeah. The fetishist easily overpowers the Iron Man and shows him a post-apocalyptic vision of the new world. The Earth consumed by metal. A fight ensues, and the fetishist chases the Iron Man across the city. It doesn't talk about, like, this, like, sequence where he shows him, like, the vision of the new Earth is, like, so, like, experimental and abstract of so much, like, textured imagery. It's beautiful and that it's gross.
Who's the guy in the plastic piece? Was that the fetishist?
I think that was the Salaryman.
Okay. I couldn't tell.
It was hard to tell, yeah, because of, like, the
Because
plastic.
it was just a womb.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah, pretty much. A fight ensues, and the fetishist chases the Iron Man across the city before being briefly incapacitated by a vision from childhood where he's repeatedly beaten by a vagrant with a metal rod. Okay, so that's what happened.
Okay.
The Iron Man rests in an old factory, but the fetishist appears and attacks him. By now, the Iron Man has transformed into an unstoppable mass and absorbs the fetishist's attacks. He's also an unmovable mass.
Yeah.
He doesn't move.
He's essentially the enemy at the end of every Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
You play Resident Evil 7, you know what I'm talking about.
But this is this brings up to when I watched this movie for the second time yesterday. When they says he absorbs the fetish's attacks, combined the two into a single monstrosity. So as I was saying this, like, Max is watching this, and they did this scene where they were just, like, kind of, like, floating, like, upside down with each other, and I just kind of, like, this was a gay love story the whole time. And then literally, like, the next, like, scene, they were like, our love will change the world.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't fucking wrong. But, yeah, so the
metal fetishist is called the metal fetishist.
for a reason.
Because he loves metal.
Yeah.
And he makes a lover out of something he hates.
Yeah. It's a gay love story.
Why do you think he got rid of the girlfriend?
Exactly. She was in the way.
They charge through the streets promising... Oh, they combine the two into a single monstrosity. It's a penis. It's a giant penis.
It's a giant penis attached to a tank holding a gun.
I'm like, why did they put the mass on the top? Like, why is it shaped this weird? And then you get a shot from behind. I'm like, oh, it's just a penis.
It's just a giant penis.
It's just a penis. You just see the tip. And I'm just like, oh, all I need to see was the tip. And now I understand.
Also, like, ignores this, like, cool moment where, like, the male fetishist, before they merge, like, his arm, like, pops off. He has like, a fucking flamethrower. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then he doesn't use it, like, at all. He, like, shoots it off twice, charges at the Iron Man, then gets absorbed.
Promising to burn the world and return it to nothing more than a rusted ball in space. That seems really cool because it features a lot of that stop motion animation and cutting.
Which shows a lot of their fight scene as they're, like, being, like, thrown throughout the city. There's a lot of that, like, the cocaine-fueled stop motion editing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, really cool moments of stop motion editing here, of, like, metal moving around, and, like, the wiring, and, like, twisted wires just moving, and, like, it's all, if you like cool stop motion that's, like, used for, like, old school, like, practical effects, you'll definitely like a lot of the effects in this film.
Yeah.
So
moving on, this is where we have the segment after we talk about the film. We're going to talk about what other people have to say about the film. So we would usually do the Google reviews here. 79% of people like this movie, but there's no reviews for it, so I'm not even going to do the bit where I say Google reviews are like the third or fourth most valuable resource to man.
Because instead, I'm fucking down.
So there's no reviews. No one reviewed this film. So instead, I'm going to IMDb, which is like the fifth or sixth most valuable resource to man.
Yeah.
It's an internet movie database. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's where they put all the movies. All the movies are stored in this database.
Yep.
And you can watch them all for free, I'm pretty sure.
If you know the correct code, you can watch every movie ever made. Even the ones that were lost to time.
It also allows audience members to score their opinions on the movies and give it an audience rating. The audience rating for this film is a 7 out of 10.
Which seems appropriate.
Appropriate for what it is.
For what it is, yeah.
And we're gonna go over some of these audience reviews. The first one's from Hang and Egger. Actually, there's no memes this time. Actually, unless I go through and these are complete memes, I don't remember seeing any memes. There wasn't anything like completely
memey.
First one's from Ham and Egger. I only got two of these because I didn't think we needed to do
pretty long.
Pretty long. Who says his title of this is manga. I don't know why I said manga. Manga infused man versus Japanese machines or Japanese sci-fi film with a razor sharp visual style. Yeah. It's so visually striking that you can never fully describe Tetsuo in words, but here are a few that apply. Japanese, hyperactive, perverse, industrial, surreal, fusion.
Faustian.
Oh, Faustian. Oh, that makes sense. I just adds together as one word. It looks really weird. Contrasty black and white. Kafka-esque. Again, these are
son of a bitch.
These are words that I've never seen before in that way. So I just I barely see Kafka spelled out. I've never spelled Kafka-esque as one word because Kafka-esque would be hyphenated.
No, it's one word. It's
fuck. Sci-fi, stop motion, manga infused, revenge, technology, alienation, supervillains.
the only one I'd probably fight is Kafka-esque to a small extent, because Kafka is like a very specific form of absurdity, and like yes, there's like some levels of body horror of like metamorphosis where like the character transforms into a bug, but it's not just like there for the sake of being there. It highlights a sense of alienation from like the world.
Yeah,
and I don't think this film really like covers that aspect.
Yeah. Shinjo Tsukamoto is an actor. He's the antagonist, meta fetishist here, as well as G is the Ichi the Killer, as well as a groundbreaking writer, director, cinematographer. Tetsuo's influence can be seen clearly in directors as diverse as Darren Aronofsky, Takeshi Miike, and even David Cronenberg.
And Lynch.
There's definitely a plot here, but due to the non-linear editing, sparsity of dialogue, you need to pay close attention on our first viewing, or else you'll be overwhelmed by the engrossing visual style, which might be a good thing. It's filmed in contrasty black and white. Each frame is cramped and chaotic, much filled with wires, pipes, chain link fences, and all other incidental debris of life in the late 20th century, which suddenly seems significant and even more menacing.
I don't think Darren Aronofsky can count as an influence on this film, because I don't think Darren Aronofsky made films back then.
He's a time traveler.
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, this film came out, what, 79? 89?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Aronofsky's first film came out in the 90s.
Time traveler.
I'm gonna Google that.
Towards the 15-minute mark, it's 67 minutes total. The willingfulness SS starts to feel a little bit too excessive. Perhaps the manga infused is a little bit too strong, but Tetsuo finishes strong with an end that's an ounce, unexpected and inevitable. Highly recommended.
I disagree if that it becomes too excessive.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really disagree.
That's like when the film is like kicked into like high gear and his first film came out in 1998, so
he was time traveler.
Yeah, a solid like 9 years after this film.
Time traveler.
Yeah.
Can you read the next one from Martin?
Yeah, Martin, violent and gross, and those are only its good qualities. It has a lot more good qualities than that. Tetsuo the Iron Man is among the strangest independent films I have ever seen. You clearly don't watch enough.
Well, this one did have a drill penis.
Yeah, but like, come on.
And a hose vagina.
It had a drill penis and a hose strap on.
Yeah, okay.
It isn't just because of the low budget black and white cinematography, but the story, one that is incredibly strange, brutal, and surreal. The film is packed with blood, violence, and is one best not to watch if you don't have a very high tolerance for this sort of stuff. And my bet is that this includes most people. You certainly wouldn't want to show this to Granny unless you're trying to kill her, or your kids unless you want to turn them into psychopaths. Okay, my granny's fucking cool as shit. She watches some of the weirdest fucking things as me. She doesn't give a fuck. She's seen my movies, for God's sake. And secondly, my kids will watch this type of stuff. And probably by accident, mostly.
And B, Jonathan's kids will watch this stuff, and they too will fetishize metal.
Probably.
And develop whole hose strap-ons and drill penises.
The story is very choppy, has very little dialogue, and often seems to be missing a clear storyline.
Surrealism.
Nutshell. That's surrealist narration in a fucking nutshell. Watch Eraserhead. Watch Unchi and Andalu. Watch The Age d'Or. Watch Blood of the Poet.
Watch Transformers 3.
Watch Holy Mountain. Watch El Topo. Watch Fantasy List.
Okay, we get it, Jonathan. You're smart.
No, it's just...
You're a smart boy, and you can list off several surrealist
This goes back to my first comment of, like, you clearly don't watch that as many, like, independent films. Like, yes, it's pretty choppy, but, like, it's still semi-followable.
Yeah.
It's still pretty linear, and there's still, like, distinct noticeable elements of, like, cause and effect, which is typically something missing from most surrealism.
Okay, continue.
It begins with some freaky guy living among metallic junk, and he's shoving pieces of metal into his body. It's pretty hardcore stuff, complete with blood, guts, and maggots.
Including ECW wrestling, because that is also hardcore. Nice wrestling joke.
Yeah, and that's probably like the most like traditional body horror element is the opening where like he's cutting himself open and like
That's literally it. Everything else is just blob
I mean,
monsters.
the other
and
stuff is body horror, but that's getting to more like the Fly style body horror, where it's like bodily transformations and like grotesque things happening to the body, as opposed to like Martyrs body horror, where it's like the human body being like tortured and like mutilated, but not like transformed.
Yeah. I don't even know where you left off.
Soon he's run over in an accident that costs nothing to stage because they don't show the accident in order to save money.
Do you need to see the accident?
No, that's like such a weird statement. Like, oh, they didn't show the accident. I was like, yeah.
No one actually got run over, so
There's
my
a lot
bloodlust
of-
has not been fed yet.
There's a lot of movies that don't show things. We never once in The Dark Knight see the Joker cut somebody's mouth open, but we know what happens.
We also didn't see what Joker did with that guy in the pencil. He didn't finish the magic trick. The pencil went in the guy's forehead.
Yeah,
That's
it
not
didn't
magic.
disappear. Where did it? I know where
You
the
didn't
pencil
fucking
went.
finish the trick.
Finish the goddamn trick, Joker. The next, a man is talking to his girlfriend on the phone about the incident and tells her he's feeling strange since the hit and run. Suddenly, following this, the guy has a long, surreal hallucination. It's not a hallucination, it's real. About a woman who is made up of flesh and metal as he too is becoming metal. She torments him for a long time, becomes a monster, and these aren't even the same scene or the same character.
Yeah, and this is actually not the correct answer. So this guy did not interpret the film because he says it becomes a monster and rapes him brutally. I don't think it's a rape.
It's not a rape. Well, it's questionable.
It's unwanted, but I think he also
If
kind of
it's-
consented to it because of his girl. I don't know.
It's a dream. It's a nightmare sequence anyway.
Right.
So like it's whatever. The woman becoming a monster is not a hallucination that happens. The character is not the same woman as that scene, and then the scene of the hose. Also, she doesn't. The scene of the hose. She's not a monster. She just has a hose strap on.
Yeah.
This is whatever. Then he wakes up to find that while it was a hallucination, he still is having metal erupt from his body, because that part wasn't from the hallucination. That part was real. And like, that's not like a dream he woke up from. The part with the woman who has metal coming out of her body and like transforms as her touches blob, that happened. That's real.
Yeah.
In the film's universe.
He and his girlfriend make out like monkeys.
You know what? That's actually pretty good description.
Do monkeys make out? I don't know.
Fun fact:
Do they go
monkeys can develop prostitution. There is like a test where they introduced monkeys to the concept of currency, where they would like give them like trinkets for tasks, and then they could turn those in for food. And then they discovered after a time, like the monkeys would start trading sexual acts for tokens. Monkeys, with given a currency, will develop prostitution. That's awesome.
I've never been more happier in my life. I don't know why. I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah. All of this only in the first 20 minutes of that is way longer than 20 minutes.
That's like 30 minutes.
That's
30 or 40 minutes.
That's like half of the film at this point.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten to the portion where he has a giant spinning metal screw.
It's a drill.
It's a drill.
Oh, it's a drill.
If it spins,
You
it's a
improper
drill.
swine.
Need I go on? I really don't think so. No, what you need to do is go back and get your shit correct.
You need to figure out what a fucking drill is. How else are you going to screw in screws without a drill or a screwdriver?
Martin, get your shit together.
Martin Sheen. The bottom line is that this film is without no audience. Is without almost no audience. Wrong. We're that audience.
There's a very large audience for this film. It's called people who like weird movies and cult films. The 70s were filled with people who love these type of films. This film came out, if anything, too late. It was not ahead of its time. If anything, it came out too late for the audience.
But it's still great.
It's still
Unless you love indie horror, Japanese films, extreme violence, sexual sadism. Sadism. I always want to call it sadism because it's sad. How sad. And surrealism, then you'll probably find the whole thing rather repellent.
You literally said there's no audience, then named the exact people who will be an audience for this film.
Believe it or not, actually found the film a bit boring after a while because it was so excessive. There really couldn't be anything else to offend or surprise me after a while. But not like the giant penis monster.
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
Yo, that guy's penis is a drip. Seen that shit before. What, these two guys made of metal became one giant tank penis made of metal that holds a gun? Seen that shit 1,000 times. Saw that Tuesday going to work. Like,
I really like this review is stupid, but I like how it said make out like monkeys because Jonathan told me about monkey prostitution.
This is like, it's a bad review that showcases you didn't really watch the film well. Like, you didn't pay attention to it, which at that point, like, I'm not going to take a review seriously because you clearly didn't fucking watch the film. Like, and actually, like, watch it. You kind of put it on and just stop paying attention. This film's not actively trying to offend people, I don't think.
I think it's just being fucking weird.
It's just being weird. Like, that's just a thing people do. Like, I don't think Eraserhead's goal was to, like, offend anybody. Maybe disturb, but not offend. And I don't think the goal of, like, John Waters was trying to offend people, yeah. But, like, that was his whole shtick.
But John Waters is actually 1,000 times more intense than this.
Yeah, and, like, the goal of this clearly wasn't to offend. It was just to be weird and fun. And, like, if you don't enjoy indie horror, Japanese films, extreme violence, sexual sadism, and surrealism,
what do you enjoy?
Why the fuck were you watching this to begin with? Like, this is a film that, like, from the base, like, pretty much from the poster, you can tell kind of what you're in for. Like, you've got fucking high contrast imagery, the weirdest fucking hair, crazy makeup, and then if you just read the description, like, you'll know exactly what you're in for. Like,
okay, I'm done with Martin Sheen. We don't need to go over
fuck you, Martin. I hope you watch this video and get offended.
Is it good?
Fuck yeah, it's really good.
Okay, that's good. Where is it on the tier list? Is it perfect? Is it an S ranking for soup, or is it A for amazing but with soup, or but not soup? I think it's an A. I don't think it's an S.
Yeah, it's an.
If it came out earlier, it would be an S. But I don't think I don't think it has the cultural relevancy or.
This is one of my like favorite films to watch. I love watching this film, but it does have a lot of flaws. There are some elements that are like kind of confusing with the story, and like not in like a surrealism way, but just like it's not well portrayed way. And there are sometimes the cocaine editing is a little very like intense and hard to watch. I think when I was watching it, my girlfriend had to like cover her eyes for some parts because the light flashing was too much for her.
Yeah.
She has an issue with that, so like, and sometimes that's the goal. Like sometimes the film's like In Such a Beautiful Day, like that's the point, that's the goal with like that type of editing. I don't think that was the case here. But yeah, it's good. It's a really good film.
Yeah.
If you enjoy all the fans that Martin listed off, definitely, or just a couple of them, check it out. Like, I don't
enjoy sadism.
Except that one. I don't think that has anything to really do with your like enjoyment. That's just like whatever. But like, if you enjoy horror films and surrealism, you'll love this. It doesn't matter if you like Japanese films. If you enjoy Japanese films and surrealism, you'll enjoy it. If you like Japanese horror, you'll enjoy this. Like, there's a lot of crossover appeal to like a lot of audiences for this film. There isn't a no audience for this film. There's a lot of audiences that would enjoy this film.
Okay, moving on to the final segment. For most of these shows, I try to come up with a cool final segment or just some stupid bit that really isn't into the main canon of the show, but just something fun that we can ramble on about. Yep. This time I did a top 10 list for the top 10 best body part modifications that could possibly happen in this Tetsuo universe, okay? Because we got the Joe penis, we got the hose strap on, there was a lighter finger, there's a few other things, but
the arm becomes a flamethrower.
These are 10 that could possibly happen that I thought of. Number, you just need to say 10.
And number 10.
No, you just need to say 10. I do number, you do 10.
Oh.
Okay. Number
10.
Finger record needle. So like your finger's the record needle, and then your mouth, when you open it, it's the stereo.
But what spins the record?
You have to find some other way to do that.
Maybe. Your dick is the thing that
spins it. Okay.
And then you just...
We'll get on to more dicks later. Number
9.
Flashlight armpit. You click your shoulder up like this, and you flex, and the light comes out. When you don't want it, shut your armpit.
That seems really inconvenient.
Number 8.
I was supposed to say 8.
Number
8.
Nutcracker mouth. That's just easy. Just
And then you can just chew them right away.
Yeah.
It also saves you time.
Yeah. Number 7. You plug like a guitar cord into your ear, and then the amp knob is your nipples.
You could become a one-man guitar unit.
And then your mouth is the speaker, probably.
Yeah, and then you can play the guitar yourself because your arms are still in use.
Yeah. Number
6.
You put the foam strip in your mouth, and then it comes out your nose, and you project it through your eyes.
God, I would love that.
You probably couldn't see it. Maybe you could. I don't know. Maybe you could just see it in your head.
Yeah.
Number
5.
Jackhammer dick.
Obviously.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
It's like number 4. Number
4.
I fucked up this bit, even though I told you what the bit was. Screwdriver nipples. It'd be weird because they don't screw themselves. They're not electric, so you have to spin around.
That's just really inconvenient.
Number
3.
This one's like, how can you not think of this one? This one's obvious. Outlet butt.
Yeah, just take something. You gotta charge your phone on the go. Shove it up your butt.
Take something, you go, and then boom, it's charged.
Yeah.
I don't know how the power exists, but maybe it's how your body has power. So maybe if you eat more food, it will.
Yeah.
Okay, that would make sense. Number
2.
So you have a faucet mouth with dial nipples, so you can control the temperature. So you turn it on and off, and then it spews out of your mouth. This leads into number
1.
You have a spout penis. And this goes with the hose strap on, and then it comes out the girl's mouth. So it's another way of distributing water. That's how usually these segments end, with one of us just getting really confused or angry.
The other person.
Is it a film?
No. Yes.
Good, you did the bit.
I'm doing the bit begrudgingly. I honestly think it's a dumb bit.
It's a good bit. I like
It's a
it.
dumb bit.
It's a good bit. Once we stop having to acknowledge it, because you didn't do it for a while, probably next week or whenever we do this again, I'll acknowledge it. I won't acknowledge it. It'll just become the bit.
That's when I'm gonna stop doing it.
Yeah, it's a great film. Check it out if you love campy horror, if you love surrealist movies, if you love Godzilla movies,
cocaine editing.
Yeah, if you love just weird shit, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
That's it for this episode 6 of the show, an episode we like to call Robert Downey Sr. It's Tetsuo, the Iron Man.
You know, I don't know if any other films in that like Little Monster series from the Kaiju. I'm gonna look into that now. I want to know what else
They'll all have troll penises. That's the
Here's
one
the thing. I wonder if like they've secretly created their own version of the MCU without us knowing it. Let's think about it. The sequel is Body Hammer. Clearly, that's 4. All right, you got the Bullet Man. That's clearly Hawkeye. My question is, when they fucking get to Doctor Strange, how fucking weird is that shit gonna get?
It's probably just be really lame and just
It's probably normal. That's the only normal film in the whole thing.
But yeah,
He's just an actual doctor who just performs surgery all day.
Yeah, that's the end of this episode. If you want to catch up with us, you can subscribe to the podcast if you're listening in audio form. You can subscribe to. We're still in the Anthony and Todd header for podcasts, but once Jonathan gives me $90, we're good. We can get a new domain.
Fucking broke, bro.
We can get a new domain. Get a new domain. Yes. Yes, you agreed.
That was
Thank
not
you.
what that
Thank
was.
you. Thank you. Now give me my
There
$90.
is literally verbal confirmation on video that that's not what I agreed to.
Well, just take out the video and give the handshake. That's all that matters. You can follow us at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all as it is a film. You can just find us on YouTube as it a film. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys stay tuned for whatever we do next. I've been Vincent.
And I'm Jonathan.
And he'll give me $90. And
I'm not giving him $90.